Hey guys, it's Warsaw here, bringing you a video about the launch of Midnight, the first week, second week, third week, what you should be doing or keeping on your radar if this is your first expansion, right, that you're trying to push a little bit or be a little bit more serious, at least in the first coming weeks. You know, usually that is going to set you up for the middle and later half for success. So without further ado, let's get to it. All right, so we're in the first week, right? The expansion launches, of course, if you have 3 days early access, just level, gather stuff, sell stuff on the auction house before the bots. Simple, nothing to it. You're just doing that, right? But we're going to talk about the full week until, you know, the very first reset, right? Remember to always do the main story quests because you need to unlock the max level area, you know, yada, 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 all that good stuff. Make sure that if you remember on Sunday, I think it's the first is the Darkmoon Faire begins. So you can go and grab that buff if you're starting a little bit late or whatever the case. You could also use that buff if you look at the rep, right, the factions and the quartermasters, and find out what champion gear you want or whatever crafting you want. You could use the Darkmoon Faire, save the side quests, do them later or whatever, or do them while you have the buff up. That's totally fine, and get that extra rep to then hopefully get you the champion gear. Prioritize what renown you want, yada yada yada, right? Don't forget about that. Now here's the thing that I've heard conflicting information, you just gotta check, but you're going to be doing it anyways, is tier A delves. Now I'm not sure if they're going to be unlocked or not, but you're gonna have to work towards the delves anyways, to get at least to 7 or however far it's going to allow you to go. So then the next week you can do 8. But if you can do 8 this week, try and do 8, trying to get as close as possible. Try and, you know, get a group, do something with it, because you want that hero track gear to fill out your vault. So you're just got one step ahead of everyone else, right? Now, of course, if it's not available, again, get as far as you can in the delve and pray system, fill out your vault, do normal dungeons at max level to get gear, and do all the weeklies in each zone. Do all of the coffer keys, the coffer key fragments, whatever the case, right? You want to be doing all these normal things to get items, gear, keys, whatever it is, right? You just want to be doing all that shit. So here's going to be a quick honorable mention that I hopefully, if people, the video should be pretty short, people should watch it or whatever the case. This is an honorable mention. I already realized this when I was playing the beta and I leveled. I thought it was very interesting, or some kind of weird mechanic, is that in here, the Void Storm, this is the end game zone. You know, you're going to be doing these daily quests. You're going to be doing the storm assault. You're going to be doing all this stuff. You know, it's going to lead you here. There's a PvP area over here, whatever the case, right? But there's something here that at least WoW had decided to say, which I'll pull up for everyone. It is called, I think, what the fuck is it called? Yeah, the Void Forge. It's in there. It's given by this guy, and you have to, it's just like a 6 quest thing. You have to collect stuff like these shards from dungeons and bountiful delves and raids, all that stuff, and basically allows you to unlock, and it says gain access to the Void Forge, granting you new ways to collect and upgrade powerful items in Midnight Season 1. Now, obviously, we want to be doing this, right? And making sure, again, the first week or so, I actually may insert this not at the end of the video, but in the first week. But we have no idea what it does. The rewards from this quest chain are blah, 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 and unlocks, which grants new ways to collect. Oh, wait. While we know the details of the quest chain to unlock the Void, not much is actually known about the Void Forge actually does. Below we speculate on what the Void Forge does based on various data mining clues, but it's also unconfirmed. People think it's like a turbo boost scenario for later on. Again, it's good to quickly go and unlock that and make sure that that's done. So whenever something happens in the season, you already know that you've unlocked and you have access to it and you don't have to worry about it, right? It's not something you have to go out and farm immediately because you forgot about it. So don't forget to do that. So now we're into March 10th, which is going to be, you know, kind of like the first week, right? The first reset. And basically you're going to be doing everything that you normally do like the previous week, but you're going to be doing this week, right? You're going to do the Mythic Zeros if they're available. They're going to be a reduced item level. You want to do a world tour of those, right? You want to do the tier 8 delves. If I don't think bountiful delves are unlocked, I think that's next week. You want to fill out your vault, right? Do any prey systems if it's better, you know, tier 8 delves, whatever the case, right? Want to do all your world quests if there's any gear available for rep. You want to do your weeklies of the zone, right? Whatever, complete all the weekly events, you know, do all that stuff. Go to the Void Spire, whatever the fuck it's called. What is it called? Void Storm. Unlock the Void Forge thingy. You want to be doing all the stuff that you were doing last week, just doing all that kind of stuff, filling out your vault, trying to get gear, doing heroic dungeon, normal dungeon, whatever, right? It's just basically an extension of what you were doing last week and just finalizing those pieces for next week. So now we're on March 17th, which is the day that all of the raids will be available on normal and heroic, I think, or at least the ones, not all of them, but the 2, I forget their name because I don't raid. But here's the thing, right? I'm specifically talking as a Mythic Plus player, and most people on this channel probably maybe only play Mythic Plus. I know some people do some other stuff. Look, not only you're going to do what you originally did, right? Any kind of world quests, any weeklies, tier 8 delves, tier 8 bountiful delves, right? Doing all the normal stuff. You got to make sure you do your Mythic Zeros. A world tour of those are going to be dropping champion item level 246, 1 out of 6, 1 out of 6 champion, 246 item level. Okay. You want to make sure you're doing those. And then this is where I would even recommend, and I may try to do as well, is do the raids, do the LFR, right? So, okay. LFR is going to come out. You're going to try the raid wing just for tier pieces, right? We're fishing for tier pieces, maybe a higher item level BIS if it drops in the first couple. You know what I mean? Watch a beta video and do the normal raids, or just do normal mode. Everyone's at the same tier as you right now. No one knows anything. Even if you're pugging, you could probably get away with it. You know, just watch a quick boss guide video and just try it. Just do it. Just try. You need to try to get the gear that's in there, a tier piece. Everyone's going to be fighting for it. Just try. Just do it. You need to do it. Again, the objective is not to just to get gear, as many times as I could say it, your tier pieces, but also to fill out your vault. So for when this next week comes, when Mythic Plus opens, you could start off even stronger by getting possibly a tier piece, getting a BIS trinket, or getting something that is very useful to you. Now, before this week, I forgot to mention, before this week, some raiders would suggest that on the week of March 10th, you could use some of your, I think it's Dawncrest, I don't know, to craft a piece of gear with the embellishments for an extra boost. So when you're going into the raid, right, like everyone's going into the raid, they're all wearing blues, you may have a little bit of advantage by having an like 2 crafted embellishments. You could do that if you wanted. I have no idea how good that is, if you just want a little boost or not. Maybe as a blood DK, because I don't give a fuck. Probably maybe not do that. I have no idea. It's all up to you, right? Gauge on how you do it. I don't know the perspective that people are watching, if you're a tank, if you're a DPS healer, whatever the case, right? But there are some people who are going to be doing that. Then we have March 24th, the big dick, right? The big dick Mythic Plus opens up. Look, here's the key, is that remember to do your, again, do your LFR. If you don't have tier pieces, maybe do as far as you did last week with normal raids. Try to do the normal raids, right? To get gear. The whole point is gear. Could do a complete tour of Mythic Zeros just for extra gear if you wanted to. Could, again, kill world bosses for extra gear, whatever you want. But now it is the time to farm the Mythic Plus. So you could just ignore all of that and just farm the shit out of Mythic Plus and get the experience and armor that way. But obviously using every avenue possible to get gear is the best, right? Especially if it's a little bit quicker than Mythic Plus, because Mythic Plus, it just depends on the RNG gods, right? So now with Mythic Plus in general, your goal is to get to 10 as fast as possible. You want, so okay, wait on, let me rephrase that. Let me rephrase that. You want to get as high as possible because you want the curve, right? You want to, everyone starting here, you want to be over here with the people who are really good and they're going to progress quicker. And you don't want to be with the people that are left in the dust. So with all your farming and hard work that you did, you should be able to push on through and get 10s as quickly as possible. You want to get as much score as possible. And the reason I say 10s is the limit for vault to get Myth Track. You want your first vault of the Mythic Plus season to be Myth Track, because it is the obviously the end game track, and you can't get it any other way unless you're doing Mythic raids. But yeah, you just want to fill out, you want to, even if you can't complete the 10 in the time, as long as you complete it, you'll fill out for the vault. You want to fill it out with all 10s. As if you possibly can. Even you can even be an objective like mine. My objective is to somehow get 4 10s and hope that, you know, not everyone is retarded and, you know, we can do it or whatever. But at least try to get 1, then up to 4. You know, the goals, man, goals. You really gotta, especially now, you really gotta push. So let's talk about Crest real quick, right? What I'm about to say, everything is different from your own lens. Okay, you could be playing a paladin, you could be playing a DPS druid, DPS this, healer that, or whatever, right? Your own priorities are different from what my own priorities are for a Blood Death Knight. So there's plenty of exceptions and stuff that you personally have to weigh out between crafting, doing this, doing that, right? So I'm going to say my own general rule and what I plan to follow, and take everything what I say with a grain of salt, because some of the people on my previous guides have actually no fucking idea how to take advice or if what is good advice. Because my general rule is that I'm going to save the majority of my crests for Myth Track items, because they are the best items in the game and ones that you're most likely going to wear for a very long time. Thus, the investment is good. Now, of course, everything depends on what you're doing or whatever, but usually that's why I'm telling you, as long as you keep getting the 10s, you keep doing your myth track in your vault, you should have a supply of myth every week, and you're upgrading and doing all that good stuff. Praise the RNG gods, right? Now, of course, it depends on you. If you're, again, a healer, a DPS or whatever, and you have a hero trinket, should you wait for a myth? Should I upgrade this? Whatever. That's up to you. You have to weigh it out yourself. I can't weigh it out for you here. Same thing with crafting. Crafting can be very good to craft into certain pieces or slots that you just can't fill out. Like, for instance, I couldn't find any boots on my Blood DK in the War Within Season 3, and I had to craft the boots. And no, I do not raid to get those actual other boots. But it all depends on, again, if you're a DPS healer, whatever, are the embellishments good enough? Like, you really need them? You know, you'll craft them. Is it worth crafting to the highest level? Should I save up the crest? That's totally up to you if you value them, and they'll replace something that's super low item level. Again, if the embellishment's really strong, that's totally up to you, or whatever the case. I don't know what the embellishments are going to be like for Blood Decay. If there's going to be a big verse one, is there a heal one, is there this or that? Again, we have to weigh out the options when we get there and decide, I really want this, or I really want that, or I'm going to save for a myth piece. There's plenty of decisions. Just try to make sure that you're investing your crest into myth pieces, or a really good crafter that's going to increase your DPS or your stamina, or whatever the case, right? It's mainly up to you, but try not to waste them on shitty hero pieces that you just randomly equip, right? You don't want to randomly equip a hero piece and then upgrade it just for some item level to only get then your myth track. You know what I mean? You get it, right? Anyways, guys, that's going to be the end for my quick guide. Hopefully you all have a really good midnight launch. Again, if I forgot anything or if I didn't explain something, I'll use it in the pinned comment below. If you have something that I missed, I'll just collect that information in there. So again, if you think I missed something, it'll probably be in there. Go check it out or comment below. Don't forget the Discord, guys. Go in there. We're going to be playing some Midnight, of course, when it comes out. We're going to be streaming on YouTube, doing normal dungeons, doing all the daily stuff, doing all that kind of shit. Anyways, guys, I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Peace.